Hello, everyone. This is Rick with the Cyber Pro podcast. We're excited today. Remember, this is industry leaders sharing their insights because hackers never sleep. So let's get right to it. Chris, thank you for being on. Who are you and why are you awesome?
Oh, well, I can tell you who I am. I don't know why. I don't know that second answer, but I'm Chris Hadnagy. I'm the CEO of Social Engineer LLC and the Innocent Lives Foundation. And I don't know why I'm awesome, but I enjoy what I do. I have a great team behind me, and I've been doing this since 2010, if you can believe that. Well, as this company, I was doing it a little bit before that too, but 14 years in just hacking humans.
I was going to say that I feel like you could have been doing that for 100 years and never actually found the answer. But
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about that. What is hacking humans?
So, I really love that question because I'm going to answer it two ways. When I first started this, I don't think I understood the answer to that question. So if we were doing this 2010, 11 time, my answer would have been very, very different. It would have been like using influence and manipulation tactics to get someone to do something. But now, after doing this and actually involving scientists in this work, like I have a PhD, her PhD is in human behavior and understanding psychology. We get to understand how humans make decisions. So what is the process that you go through when you're going to make a decision to do something or not do something? By understanding that process, I can then choose different types of tools to use to see if I can influence that process that you take in making that decision to do something that is unsafe for you. But I do it in a way that I can then train you to not fall for that again.
I love it. So I'm actually going to pivot because I'm curious to learn your answer on my next question. And I think it'll be two answers. But the question is, I love to ask about recent evolutions that you've noticed that's changing the cybersecurity landscape. And so I have a feeling you have two answers. I have a feeling you have a technology answer, and then I think you're probably going to have a human answer as well.
And folks, we have not talked about this before the show. So he does know I have two answers, but he doesn't know that because he actually knows it. He knows it. So first, the technological answer is AI, right? And it's not just a buzzword. It is real. I mean, the amount of deep fake attacks that I'm seeing both from the social engineer side and my nonprofit side are mind-blowing. Like how much AI is being used right now to create threat, from digital skins to voice cloning to fake nudes, everything in between. It's creating havoc. But also from the human side, we're at a point in life because not only because of AI, but because of fake news and social media. There's a lot of people that don't trust anything or just kind of give up. Either they go one of two ways, like, I don't know what to trust, so I'm just going to listen to TikTok. Or the other side is I don't trust anything, and now they're more vulnerable because they don't listen to good information about how to stay safe. So we're at a really weird time in the world today. The younger generation lives on the internet. I mean, literally their whole lives are documented on the internet. So finding information about people to target is maybe the easiest it's ever been, and that's kind of scary.
Love it. I love it. So what are some misconceptions that you're hearing about cybersecurity that you just want to squash?
I'm probably going to get some hate for this one, but I'm a professor at a university, okay, an adjunct professor, and I'm saying this, so this is probably bad policy. I don't think you need a big, massive degree to be awesome in cyber, infosec. Now, let me caveat that. You want to be a CISO? Is that your job? You want to be the CEO? Yeah, you're probably going to need to go get a degree, right? You're going to have that. Here's what I find when I'm looking for people. Do you take part in CTFs? Are you active in infosec and reading, writing, helping educate, mentoring people? Is it a passion for you? Is it a job, right? So I get people, and this is not for everyone. You want a 9 to 5, man, you can get a security analyst job. You can get a data analyst job. You can get data input job, and those are great 9 to 5s. But if you want to do like what I'm doing during the pen testing, the really getting deep adversarial simulation, it can't be a 9 to 5 because you got to eat it, breathe it, drink it. And it doesn't mean you don't have a life. It just means that this is not something you just do when you come to the office and then when you leave, I give it up. It has to be passion. I think I would look for that more in a potential employee because I can train the other things. Do you have some good certs? Do you have passion for it? Than I would having all the degrees in the world.
I love that. And I talk a lot about this as well, because I didn't come from an IT background. My degrees are not in that world. They're in people like you, right? And so I think it's important. But the thing that really gets me is, the 4-year degree, even some of the certifications, they're theoretical. They're not practical. And I try to tell people, take that position that's going to get you the practical knowledge and then go do whatever you want theoretically. And it sounds like that's what you're advocating for as well.
100%. So I look at, this is why I say CTFs, because it's practical, right? Or you have the offensive security course. Their certs are practical. I try to, not steal, but like steal the concept when I created my certification. So my certification is a 48-hour actual SE pen test, non-physical entry and non-code on real people, right? So I have a course that we teach vishing and phishing, and I made a deal with a government agency out in Illinois. They gave me all of their employees, and I have now employee real targets, and my students get to vish, phish, and OSINT real people. Because you're right, you're going to come sit in a 5-day class, and what are you going to walk out with if all I talk about is theory? And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I want you to leave here saying, I did vishing, I did phishing, here was my results. That is the practical kind of stuff. I'm 100% behind you on this. I don't think, I'm not saying book knowledge isn't worth something, but if you just have book knowledge and you have nothing practical, then it really doesn't mean much.
So let's take that, right? How can people become more practical? I mean, I know I just went and learned how to Python code. I don't need to use it anymore, but how can other people go out and just find ways to be practical in the cyber world? And that obviously should extend out to what you mentioned earlier, which is now you've shown up that.
So I'm going to answer from a social engineering angle first. So from social, people always say, well, how can I practice this without being a bad person? Easy. Go out and have a conversation with a complete stranger. That's it. Have a conversation. Come up with a goal. You know what? I see you in a coffee shop. I want to know your first name and your last name. Maybe what month you were born. Am I going to do anything with that? Absolutely not. Am I going to stalk you or hack? Nope. I'm going to do nothing wrong with that information. Actually, I'm going to forget it once I leave the coffee shop. But practicing having a conversation with someone that you can become their friend in a couple seconds and then get them to tell you deep secrets and things, that's how you practice social engineering. And it's not unethical, as long as you don't do anything unethical with the information. Now, don't go getting someone's credit card or bank information, because that runs on the verge of fraud. Even if you don't do anything with it, you don't want to create fear. But if you can master the art of simply having an open conversation with a stranger and getting them to tell you things about them and their family and their dogs and their kids and their job, that is what this job is all about. Now, from the other side of InfoSec, I'm going to go right back to what I said before, CTFs, practical, right? And not everyone can do this. Like, I know when I first started, I had a VM lab in my house, right? And I had all these VMs, and I'd go and I'd hack them. And then I found the OffSec labs, and I got into that. And not everyone has that capability, but there are, I think it's called ctftime.org. It's just a list of CTFs globally, everywhere around the world, and how you can participate and what kind of knowledge you would need to participate. Find the thing that you're passionate about and go do it. I love what you said. I picked up a book on Python, wanted to learn how to write it, just started doing it. Great. That is the best way to start learning how to do something. Just remember, don't do anything illegal or immoral, but you could practice these skills at a home lab or with people, the social engineering side, and it's not a problem.
And now ChatGPT has helped me learn to code better, so that's a good thing.
Yes, very much so.
So really quick, just to short up before I ask you the final question, CTF, capture the flags. We got that one. Most of the people that listen get that. Real quick walkthrough. What's the difference between vishing and phishing?
Oh, yeah, thanks. I often do that. I use those words, and then I'm sitting in front of people. They're looking at me like, what? So let's talk about the 4 main vectors that we can break all social engineering down to. Phishing, everyone knows, that's email-based attacks. Vishing, which stands for voice phishing. And believe it or not, fun fact, that word ended up in the Oxford Dictionary in 2015. It's crazy to me that we make up words in this industry, and now it's in the dictionary as a real word. Then you have smishing, which is SMS phishing. And then you have impersonation. And impersonation covers everything. Like that's, red teaming, physical, or even social media impersonation. Now, they have added some new ones. I think it's quishing. That's the ishing people just went crazy. So it's QR phishing. And I'm sure there's another one coming out with, I don't know. It's chat phishing. So I don't even know what it is. But the ishing people go crazy with that. But I could still include those in one of the other forms, because how do you get the QRs? Usually it's through email or it's through text message. So we're still seeing those mediums as those 4 main mediums for social engineering.
Love it. And amusing anecdote, right? It could be called, AI. It could be Aisha or Aishin. And then we grab Aisha and put her on as the head of it. So
great. Oh, that's actually a really good idea.
This is too funny. So we'll have to work on that, get that trademarked or something. But final question for you, fun question. What's your favorite piece of retro technology that makes you smile?
Oh, I love that question. When you said it, here's the first thing that came to my mind is my Commodore 64. I don't have it right anymore, but I remember when I was 10, 11, 12, I had an office in my closet, and I had that thing in there, and I stayed up all night coding in BASIC and playing Lode Runner. I loved that machine. I probably spent more time on that machine than I did with humans for those years of my life. When you asked that question, the first thing I thought about was that, and it made me smile. After that, it would probably be the first Atari system that my dad bought. I remember my mom being so angry because my brother and I were playing tank, and she was like, "The violence is awful. You guys are shooting each other." And it was just those square boxes with a dot going around. I'm thinking, wow, if she saw what's out here today, it'd be all over.
Christopher, thank you so much for being on the Cyber Pro podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning into the Cyber Pro podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on new podcasts and all of our cool bonus content.